Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 30th part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot, Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 30, Final Destination. It was Achiko and Aoyama's exam and both of them were in a pinch. Both of them were getting pulled in the 13th black hole. Both of them hanging on for dear life. What am I going to do? Thought Uraraka, what can I do? What are you thinking about? Asked Aoyama. What? Asked Uraraka. Are you thinking about Midoriya? Asked Aoyama. What? Asked Achiko. Is that because you like him? Asked Aoyama. Achiko stared at him and let go in shock. She was blushing as she started to get pulled away. However, that was when the black hole stopped pulling her away. And there was an awkward silence as she just floated there. The hole, do you like Midoriya? Question was mostly forgotten as she realized. I can't believe I forgot that I can control my personal gravity. She muttered to herself in embarrassment as she covered her face. In the observation room, Inko, Tsuyu and Recovery Girl saw this. She forgot she could do that, said Tsuyu with a sweat drop. She did, sighed Recovery Girl. 13 wasn't sure how to react. Uraraka. I'm still being sucked up, said Aoyama, still hanging on for dear life. Oh yeah, said Uraraka, still a little embarrassed. She summoned her wand. Under their helmet 13 eyes widened and stopped, using their quirk in case something went wrong. Good thing is 13 found their gravity increased. Achiko took advantage of her teacher being down and ran over. She let go of 13 from her wand but managed to grab them by the arm in a certain way. Aoyama, called out Achiko. Aoyama was recovering. Then it was remembered Aoyama was the one carrying the handcuffs. She held him down as he cuffed their teacher. Achiko, Uraraka and Yuga Aoyama have passed their exam, came the announcement. In the observation room, Izuku, Tenya and Yaoyorozu all showed up. We missed it? Asked Izuku. That was when he noticed his mom. Oh mom, you were watching, said Izuku. I was, said Inko, who then began to cry. That was so amazing. I'm so proud of you. It was all Yaoyorozu's idea, said Izuku. Still, cried Inko. Sports drink, reminded Recovery Girl. I know, cried Inko. Is this normal? Yaoyorozu asked Tsuyu and Tenya. Both of them nodded. Which one is the next one? Asked Tenya. I believe it's Ashido and Kaminari against Principal Nizu, said Yaoyorozu. That's amazing. We rarely ever get to see him in combat, said Izuku. Inko had a far-off look in her eyes. Mom, what's wrong? Asked Izuku. It's nothing, said Inko. Really? Recovery Girl sighed, being Nizu's assistant. She knew that she had seen Nizu's sadistic side plenty of times. And soon enough the test began. It was in the training ground that resembled the oil refinery. And that was important as there was a crane there. A crane that Nizu used to knock down buildings with such precision that neither student could get past certain point. And as he did that, it was clear that he was being very sadistic about it. The students watched in horror at this. Nizu was taken in by scientists that performed horrible experiments on him. There are times where he takes out his hatred of humanity, sighed Recovery Girl. The students watching just counted to watch in horror. Have you been given the advice yet? Asked Recovery Girl to Inko. You mean smile and nod? Asked Inko. I do, said Recovery Girl, breathing a sigh of relief. With Katsuki and Shoto, both of them realized something. This is one of those exams that's Jin got take forever, muttered Katsuki. The principal is probably playing mind games with them. You memorized who's up? Asked Shoto. Katsuki just scoffed. We do need to think of a plan, said Shoto. Seriously? We need a plan? Asked Katsuki. All might is stronger than, said Shoto. Katsuki looked at her exam partner knowing that she was trying to talk about Endeavor. Yeah, said Katsuki. You seriously want to fight All Might? Asked Shoto in shock. If I want to be the #1 hero, I have to beat him, said Katsuki. You are serious, sighed Shoto. What you expect me to fight him alone? Asked Katsuki. What? Said Shoto. If we team up, I doubt All Might can beat us, said Katsuki. Shoto sighed. She knew how stubborn Katsuki was. I won't be able to convince you otherwise to run away, said Shoto. You think I'd just run away? Asked Katsuki. Shoto sighed and knew it was probably better not to argue. After a while they heard the announcement. Denki Kaminari and Mina Ashido have failed the exam. So those two failed, said Katsuki. Shoto nodded. Meanwhile in the observation room, they had seen the two were not able to find the path of the exit during that half hour. That was when Ochako entered the room. Nina failed, she must be so devastated, said Ochako. But you passed, said Izuku. Sorry, I couldn't see it. Ochako looked at Izuku and started to blush. Ochako? Asked Izuku, seeing her blush. It's nothing, really, said Ochako. What Aoyama had said earlier was starting to get to her. Soon enough, it was the next exam. Jiro and Koda against Present Mike. Their plan was interesting. There were problems as Jiro has enhanced hearing and Present Mike's scream scared away the animals. But it turned out Koda could control bugs. Though the shy rock-headed boy was scared of them. But after seeing Jiro's ears bleeding. And then he sent out a huge wave of them against Present Mike. The poor man was covered in every conceivable bug, which meant insects, arachnids, centipedes, millipedes, and possibly a few mollusks. The students and Inko had all watched in horror at this. Well, Tsuyu was more interested in other things. However, Recovery Girl just scoffed. Honestly, getting defeated by bugs. She muttered. Toru's next, right? Asked Izuku. I think so, said Yayorozu. I really hope she passes, said Izuku. I told Aizawa about the plan to bond with her, and if she passes, Aizawa wants me to bond with her before camp begins. That's good, said Tenya. We will have to figure what to do, said Inko. I mean, she is your first true volunteer. Izuku nodded. And soon enough the exam began. And soon the exam began at Toru and Shoji going up against Snipe, who was the Koi-boy-themed hero. His quirk allowed him to home in an opponent, and thanks to shooting skills it was a terrifying combination. However, Toru came up with a plan. She snuck up on him and cuffed him, winning the exam for her team. All right, cheered Izuku. Looks like we're getting another teammate soon, giggled Ochako. Yeah, said Izuku. Inko smiled at this reaction, happy about it. Meanwhile, Katsuki and Shoto. Come on, there's only one more left before our, muttered Katsuki. Shoto nodded. And so they headed to their exam location. Back in the observation room, they were all watching the second to last test. All of the students looked at Mineta with contempt as he ran away crying tears of blood. Say the match was him and Zero against Midnight. Midnight had knocked out Zero and now he was sleeping on her lap. It was clear Mineta was uber jealous of his classmate. Izuku had learned to dislike Mineta as he ogled Inko before learning that she was his mom. And ever since her own transformation, Tenya had learned to hate the short boy who often ogled her legs. The point was that could tell why he was crying tears blood. However, as turned out, the crying was part of his plan to stop her, stick her to the ground and get the unconscious Cyril out of there. With him passing the exam, though, Cyril was uncertain. "Well, he's going to camp," muttered Yayorozu. "I'm sure he won't cause any problems," said Tenya. "Oh, Tenya," sighed Tsuyu. Meanwhile, Katsuki and Shoto. "Fuck!" yelled Katsuki, hearing the announcement, which didn't help, only mentioned Mineta. "We need to focus on our exam," said Shoto as they were at the testing ground. "I know," muttered Katsuki, "but still, you just know the grapist is going to something at camp." "If we do manage to pass," said Shoto. "Which we will," said Katsuki. Shoto sighed, as it was clear that Katsuki was being a bit overconfident that they could beat All Might. Shoto honestly wasn't sure if they could. After all, All Might was stronger than her father, much stronger. So much stronger that he had literally bred her. She was very much aware that it was going to be an easy exam. And her only hope was that Katsuki would realize before it was too late. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 31. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.